When there are rules inside your head like, you should do this, you can't do that, you have to do this, do you follow them? What impact does that have on you? This episode is about the choice you're really making when you follow the rules inside your head. You're listening to Pure Light, where we explore how you can believe in yourself and be happy with who you are so that you feel worthy of your craziest dreams and confident in your power to make them happen. My name is Ailey. I'm a coach, writer, and Kundalini Yoga and meditation teacher. This is episode 97. This episode is part of a series of episodes about the rules inside your head. You can find them all at purelightpodcast.com, and you can also subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts if you want to get the rest of them. So when you're in a situation when the rules inside your head come up, like for example, when you're eating a cupcake, like I talked about in the last episode, it can seem like a bad thing that they're coming up. It's usually a negative experience because the mind is busy and angry and trying to control everything. So I want to use this episode to reframe that a little bit because it's an opportunity to evolve whenever that comes up by looking at what's going on in the mind and by also considering the choices that you make. There are several layers of choice happening whenever you follow or feel like you have to follow the rules inside your head. Some of them may be conscious and some of them may be unconscious. But when you're aware of them, you can make better choices for yourself. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this episode. So when the rules inside your head come up, there's always inner conflict. There's a difference between what you want and what you think you should want. So there's the desire for something. And then there's the judgment of that desire. Like you shouldn't want this. So judgment creates separation. It puts things into categories. Categories like good or bad, right or wrong. And it basically sets things up for the ego to start trying to control things so that you only get the good stuff. When you follow, or even when you just entertain the rules inside your head, it's a way of perpetuating the mental habit of judgment. Because you're basically saying, this is the right path, or this is good. But you're picking that one thing that's preferable and saying, I can only have this, so I can't have the other thing that's wrong or bad. Judgment is a mental habit. It's something that the mind does automatically, and it does it often. And because it's a habit, the more often you do it, the stronger it becomes. So it becomes more automatic and more unconscious, potentially. So whenever you follow the rules inside your head, you strengthen that habit. You keep the mind busy evaluating things, evaluating what's good or bad, what's wrong or right. And then the ego is busy trying to control everything to make sure everything goes the right way. But even more than that, when you follow the rules inside your head, it's a way of perpetuating the mental habit of self-judgment. Because it's a way of perpetuating the idea that you should be different than you are. Because whenever you want to do something and you have that instinct and you ignore it in favor of what you think you should do, you're creating that gap again and again. So there's you and what you really want. And then there's the ideal self or the ideal version of you and what you think you should want. That gap only exists when you act in a way that perpetuates it. So when you follow the rules inside your head, you perpetuate the idea that there's separation between you and the ideal self. So every time you follow the rules inside your head, you're acting as if you shouldn't be who you are. You're rejecting your needs, your wants, your desires in favor of ideas you've adopted. So in addition to keeping the mind busy by perpetuating the habit of judgment, you're creating self-negativity through self-judgment whenever you follow the rules inside your head. You're choosing to uphold the idea that you should be different than you are. So I'm going to say this another way. When you follow the rules inside your head, you're choosing not to accept yourself as you are. There's no way that you can accept yourself if you're following the rules inside your head. Because if you do that, it means you're rejecting your desires and acting as if what you want doesn't matter. So it means you're basically sending a signal to the universe and to your unconscious that you aren't who you think you should be, which means that there's a lack of self-acceptance there. So to fix this, the solution is to stop following the rules inside your head. Because every time you choose to do the thing that you want, the thing that actually feels right and true for you, instead of rationalizing or justifying or explaining why you can't do that, you affirm that you matter and that what you want matters. You also stop acting as if you should be different than you are, which means that the idea is no longer being upheld by your behavior. So it has the possibility of becoming a thought that you can let go of. So having the thought isn't the problem. Acting as if the thought is true is what creates the problem, because then it's pretty much impossible to let go of the thought. So in a nutshell, following the rules inside your head keeps the mind busy. But more than that, it can make you hate yourself. So the choice that you're really making when you follow the rules inside your head is to keep the mind busy and to create that sense of self-negativity. It's worth asking yourself, is that what you really want? There's still more to come on the rules inside your head, including an episode on how to let go of them. Stay tuned and subscribe to Pure Light wherever you listen to podcasts, or listen to all the episodes at purelightpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, may you be guided by your light.